All right. We have the Cowboys versus the Celtic Tigers, 11-3, 12-2. I'm just going to show you the playoff picture real fast, too. So far, the Elks are in first. Wow. Chiefs are in second, Steelers in third, Bills in fourth, Egyptians in fifth. I'm not that surprised the Egyptians are doing pretty good because I feel like they have a really good defensive line. The Tigers obviously in first on the other side, and they obviously have a really good defense. No one really is that surprising. Then again, I feel like the teams are pretty well balanced, but hey, you know, I'm biased. Alright, let's get into this game. Celtic Tigers versus the Cowboys. Personally, I think the Cowboys will win. I think the last time I watched them play last year, I think in the last season, was the Cowboys won, I think, the time that they played, but I think it was a close game. Obviously, this is offense versus defense, so I just think the Cowboys have that slight edge. Very slight. Let me know down in the comments below who you think is going to win, and let's get into it.
Today, from Dublin, Ireland, it's the NFL International Series on EA Sports. It's the Dublin Celtic Tigers taking on the Dallas Cowboys.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Season is upon us. We've got the gift of the NFL as we're underway here in Week 16. This taken in at the goal line. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Time for Dak Prescott and the Dallas offense to go to work. Prescott, of course, the former fourth-round pick in 2016 out of Mississippi State.
I like this guy, and the reason I do, he tends to stay on an even keel. Doesn't let too much ruffle him. He will manage the game the way it needs to be managed, take what the defense gives him, and then he can strike at times. Had a touchdown pass. Yes, he had an interception last week, but he found a way for his team to win.
And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. The game's first play produces 6 yards, brings up second down. Meanwhile, Dak's throw there caught by Gallup. And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. For Gallup, a check on the numbers from a week ago. 5 catches, 88 yards.
And he's able to pull that last pass in, but this is usually a pretty tough unit to try and maneuver against. They're in the top 10 in the league against the pass, and you and I both know there's not much difference between 1 and 10.
Now he's flushed out, and he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Chase Young racking up sack number 12 for him on the year. And the sack parade continues. Remember last week, they had an astounding 8 sacks, another one there on the opening drive.
And they have the mentality of just attacking the quarterback in the pocket, no matter what. They're one of those teams that says, we play the run on our way back to the quarterback. And that philosophy works for them very well.
Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on second down. Another try after the first down sack. Prescott. Oh, not sure he saw the linebacker there as that's batted down and incomplete. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And he'll go underneath here to Elliott. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. They'll get only a yard out of that, and it'll bring up 4th down. And they're getting him involved early.
You feel like they saw something on tape, or they just have a sense with him because he's had a good week of practice or something in that area that they want him involved. Just as you said, they want him to touch it either in the running game or the passing game, but they must like the matchups they're getting.
So on 4th down, kicking it away here, Michael Pilardi. And he was called on 3 times in the win last week as his first one here's away. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. And out will come the leader of this offense, and that, of course, is their signal caller.
And what I enjoyed in preparing for this game was talking not just with the coaching staff, but with him as well. And I found it interesting that the coaching staff sees him one way, and he sees himself an entirely different way.
Yeah, one thing he said he's always working on, we know he's not bad at this, but his footwork, always wants to improve that, and that's something he's going to focus on here.
And what was so funny, what the offensive coordinator say right off the top, he's got great footwork. Love his footwork. So this guy is never satisfied.
Throwing again on 2nd down. White, this ball tipped, and it's going to be incomplete. Fortunate maybe to get that back. It's 3rd down. Well, this defense very strong in that victory from a week ago.
Yeah, they only allowed 13 points, and you can poll all 32 coaches, and I guarantee you they'd say, we'll take that every single week. But let me think about that for a second. Maybe there'd be one contrarian that would say, give me 10.
They'll get this out wide to Gaskin. And he went backwards. He'll be down at the 30. They'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that's going to make it 4th down.
As a defense, you're more balanced when you're in zone coverage because you're able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and see the play develop in front of you. They're able to keep the quick pass in front of them and stop it right at the line of scrimmage.
So they bring out their punter as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. He was only asked to punt once in the victory last week as he sends this one away. It's a net of 40 there, a punt of 48 and a return of 8. And the Cowboys will take over the football with a 1st and 10. Cowboy offense heading out. Let's take a look at the playoff picture coming into the weekend in the NFC. And the division title, that's out of reach. We know that. This is as good a spot, Charles, as they're going to get. That first wild card and the number 5 overall seed.
Barton is not out of the question, especially with the 7 seeds that they have now in the playoffs. If you do win and the other wild card teams win in the first round, you could find yourself with a home game in the divisional round. Now, we know that's not likely, but it's not out of the question. Bottom line, you have to win to put yourself in that position.
8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down. Off play action to Elliott. Here's Prescott. He finds his target. It's Schultz. And he will have a Cowboys 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn it into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
Clock rolling as we hit the midway point of this first quarter. A first down carry by Elliott. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. A give to Elliott. That's going to be a 6-yard gain. It leaves him with 3rd down and just a yard to go. They'll try and run for it with Elliott. And he's taken down at the 43, but not before picking up the first.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high powered, you got to find a way to hold them under 20. Because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
Oh, this will be incomplete. The rush gets home just as he was letting that go. That could have been worse. Instead, it's 4th down.
Has to be a little bit of frustration there. Back-to-back incompletions. Receivers blanketed on both attempts, this time on 3rd down.
Here's Michael Pilardi now, as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. And this will be out of bounds. Now it's a question of where they'll mark it. And they'll say it crosses at the 11-yard line. And as this offense makes their way back out, NFC playoff race time, we give you a look at what's going on there. Well, we do know, Charles, they will be in the playoffs. They currently sit at pole position number 1, but nothing's set in stone right now. They still have to earn that top spot.
And it makes me reflect back to preseason when you and I do our tours of camps. The prevailing message in each and every one of them was what? Win the division.
Win the division.
Win the division. You know you're in the playoffs. It means something. It means a home game. It means a number of other things, but winning the division is paramount. You're right. They won't step off the gas here.
That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on 1st down. A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. White looks to throw. Over the middle, it's complete. And a healthy gain of 8 here. They double their workspace out to the 16. Now White. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a 1st down. Well done.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people, but you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
Now a throw here, hauled in, and they'll wind up getting this to the 37, gain of 9. Looking to throw again on 2nd down. White, he'll find Etienne out of the backfield. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. A couple of 1st downs on the drive already, as they'll go from the 47 now on 1st down. Now the former Washington Husky, here's Myles Gaskin. And no room to maneuver there. Give him a yard up to the 47. No score after 1 on EA Sports. Still 9 remaining on 2nd down. Off play action, here's White. And this throw incomplete. Well, the defender all over him that time, but it's going to lead to 3rd down. Now White. And he will go down. A Cowboys sack. He could not get away that time, and it'll be a loss of 11 on 3rd down. He seemed to have a reasonable amount of time in the pocket, but he couldn't get rid of the football, and the end result, Charles, him on the ground.
Yeah, he's got to keep an internal clock to go along with his offensive line. When you're talking about 3, 4, 5 seconds, that's a reasonable amount of time to expect to deliver the ball downfield. So great to try and complete a pass, but it's equally important to know when to throw the football away, too.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. And a fair catch signaled for and taken just outside the 20-yard line. They call it 38 yards on the punt, no return. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. So out come the Cowboys now as their offense gets set to take over. They've been playing the field position game thus far. No score, 2nd quarter as they come up on 1st and 10. They start on the ground with Elliott. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Prescott. And seeing nowhere to throw, he chucks this one away from harm. Incomplete. Now it's 3rd down. Now Prescott. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off near the 32. And the return will stop right around the 25. Well, he had to wait until December, but congrats to the rookie, his first INT.
Yeah, he's been a reliable contributor for this defense throughout the season. Definitely got a bright future and has gotten even brighter after making that play.
Dublin's offense now set to take over. And, of course, this a critical game in regards to not just the division race, but playoff seeding as well. They are a game up, but a loss here could really muddy the waters.
And both of these teams want to clear things up about how they feel about each other and their standing in the league. Because these two teams, they've really been the cream of the crop in their division. So this game, it's been looming on both of their schedules.
An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. From the shotgun, here's White. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 38. The defense rising to the challenge and setting him back on the sack.
Okay, you know my bias is about to come out here. A lot of people think that the offense is just moving in the wrong direction. I'd say they're moving in the right direction because the defense is pushing them back.
Former defensive guy. Now, as a quarterback 3rd and long, you really got to rally the troops here, don't you?
Yeah, you do in a big way. And what else do you have to look out for? More pressure coming at you because it seems to be working pretty well.
This offense so far on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This 3rd and forever. Oh, he's going to go for... And this is off target to the left. Didn't get there anyway. It's no good, and this will remain a scoreless game. Dallas offense set for this next drive. And following the interception, we'll see what they can put together on this drive.
I can hear my old college coach right now. He always used to tell us before every game, the team making the fewest mistakes will win. What they're hoping is that that last mistake is their only one of the game.
Coaches, that's all they talk about, turnovers, right?
Minimizing those and maximizing opportunities.
That catch good for only a couple. They play fake to Elliott. Now Prescott. He'll fire this deep for Gallup. And this a leaping effort, but it's knocked away and incomplete. The Cowboys on 3rd down. 2 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 8. Here's Prescott. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Newman. Here's Michael Pilardi now as he's on to punt for Dallas. He'll get off a fairly short kick here as this is toward the sideline. And this one sails out of bounds. I think it'll be inside the 25. It will. 24-yard line is where they'll spot it. Dublin's offense now set to take over. We've seen both of these offenses still sort of in that figuring things out phase, but I suspect some action on the scoreboard soon as they start out here 1st and 10. Out of the gun, it's White. He'll get this out to the flat for ETN. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Here's White. And the Cowboys pressure gets there this time for the sack. It looks like a loss of right around 11 there on 1st down to set them back on 2nd. So, Charles, no turnovers yet for this offense, but those sacks now, they're starting to pile up.
And one thing usually leads to another because they've got to figure out how the offensive line and everyone else involved in protection can keep their quarterback upright and allow him a chance to throw the ball downfield.
To try again after the sack. White. Now White lost the football. It's picked up by the Cowboys. And this is going to be brought back for a fumble return touchdown by the Cowboys. So the big fella gets on the scoreboard with a return for a touchdown. Good thing he didn't have to go too far, though.
You know the trainers were very happy about that. Imagine having to go get him in the end zone, escort him to the bench, and give him the oxygen. They were loving the fact that he got in without having to run very far.
No going for 2. They'll kick the point after. And this is up and good to make it 7-0 Cowboys. The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there, grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. And no effort to bring this one out. It's a touchback. Out comes this field general once more, leading his offense back onto the field. And he has not really been able to have a lot of comfort back there in the pocket. Pressure's been coming at him a lot, hasn't it?
And they've got to figure out how to tamp down that pressure. How do they decrease it? Is it getting rid of the football quicker? You know, shorter drops? Maybe they do something different with their pass blocking and their protection schemes. Maybe you meet them on the line of scrimmage instead of retreating to try and protect your quarterback. They've got to figure something out, though, because you cannot let your guy get hit that much, not if you intend to win.
Yeah, I know they'd like to erase that video in those 4 sacks that they've seen so far. And they'll get it all the way up about 5 yards shy of midfield.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
The big play to start him out has him at the 45 already. Here's a give to ETN. And he'll maneuver his way forward for about 4. 2nd and 6. The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. A handoff for ETN. And he's got this one across midfield into Cowboy territory. Now after the running play, we've got a man down on the field. Not something you want to see in Week 16 or any week, really. We'll be right back. And this offense on 3rd down today, they've only converted once in 4 tries. Here it's 3rd and 2. White. Over the middle, complete. That's Zimmerman. And he's taken down at the 43, but not before picking up the 1st.
That was a route run not just with dexterity, but with intelligence. Found the hole in the zone, made sure the quarterback saw it, and was able to make the sure catch and flip the down marker back to 1.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. To throw, White. And that throw behind his man. He missed him. Incomplete. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Throwing again. White. This to McLaurin out on the left side. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. They'll look to throw again. And that is incomplete. And now following the incomplete pass, we'll get a timeout here for an injured player. Not something you want to see in Week 16 or any week, really. We'll be right back. And on now is the punter, as he's on here to punt it away. He's been a busy man here in this 1st half as he gets it away. Out comes Michael Gallup and company as they take the field. 2nd quarter here. He has only 1 catch, but they have the lead. You got to think, though, he's going to be more involved at some point.
That's what you would expect, but sometimes what defenses do to take away a player of his magnitude, it costs them in other areas. And right now, with them losing, they may have to change their focus, and maybe he will open up a little bit more as the game goes on.
Yeah, well, so far just the single catch. Now he's going to swing this one out to his running back. Stopped at the 24-yard line after a gain of 5. To throw again on 2nd down. Prescott got his man complete over the middle. It's Elliott. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. 2 minutes on the clock, 2nd quarter, 7-0 ball game. Coming up at halftime, I'll go from one personality, that's you, Charles Davis, to another one in Orlando, the coach. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL. You and Jonathan Coachman both larger than life.
No doubt about it.
But you're stuck with me in this booth,
yes,
and he's miles away and smiling.
And happy. But one of the ways that quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
To the air again, Prescott. That's complete to Davis. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Looking to throw, Prescott. He finds his man, complete. It's Schultz. And this will go as a gain of 7 as he gets it to the 30-yard line. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
From the 30 on 2nd down, Prescott. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. Now the Cowboys going to burn the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the 1st half. On 1st and 10, Prescott. That one complete to Elliott. The Cowboys going to use their 2nd timeout now, as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1. Possibly a good spot here to take a shot as they come out with 3 receivers to the left on 2nd and less than a yard. And that one going to be off target and incomplete.
From the snap, he certainly looked like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but surprise, that guy was covered. So that took his attention elsewhere to no avail.
Third and short yardage, Prescott. He'll get this out wide here to Elliott. Oh, Elliott going to be hit. He coughs it up, loose football. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble.
All I can say about this play is that someone's living right. I mean, he's trying to gain yardage, trying to get upfield. Ball comes free. What's that panic that we've talked about oftentimes that you feel when you lose the ball?
You can sense it.
Oh, you can sense it, and somehow he got to it and was able to recover it for his squad.
And again, it's Prescott. That's into the hands of Gallup over the middle. The Cowboys signal for their third and final timeout as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1. Second and goal from inside the 5. Out of the gun, here's Prescott. And that is caught. Touchdown, Cowboys. Dalton Schultz as the first half is winding down. And the Cowboys will extend their lead here just before halftime.
You get down near the goal line, this is where having a sure-handed tight end becomes a luxury, and it pays off big time, especially when the defense sells out against the run, and he finds himself open for an easy touchdown.
Out for the PAT, here's Sloman. And it's good to make it 14-0. So that one a long 11-play drive. And it's capped off with a Cowboys touchdown. So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. From a yard or two deep, here comes a return. And the decision to come out of the end zone is going to cost him 5 yards as he's taken down right at the 20. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. And with 10 seconds left, not really enough time to put something together. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. So we have reached halftime here with the visiting Cowboys out on top. As it's time now to send you back stateside to Orlando, Florida, and check in with Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much.
All right, hang on. We'll jump over halftime. A 2-touchdown game, 14-0 the score as we get rolling again here in this second half. And the half will begin with a touchback. And this offense set to go now to begin the third quarter. And right out of the gate, they face what you'd think could be a pretty important drive.
I would say so. You know, they're down 2 scores. That's not the end of the world. It wasn't the strongest of first halves, but for them to start clawing back, they've got to start putting a little pressure on that defense, start cutting into this deficit. You can't have 3 and outs and expect to get that done.
And this will be a gain of 5 as he gets it to the 30. Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. Etienne once more. And he'll slip his way up across the 30 to the 32.
Well, they still have time to get him established, but in my estimation, they've got to pick up the urgency here. They've got to get quickly in and out of the huddle and run off a bunch more plays.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Looking to throw. White. And he finds McLaurin. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled.
We use the term pitch and catch a lot to denote an easy completion. We just saw one right there on 3rd and 3 to pick up the first down.
Why are those so tough to defend? Just because they hit so quickly?
Yeah, it's all about timing and confidence. Quarterback sees it, rips it, there you go.
Now White with a first down throw. And that is knocked away in the middle of the field and incomplete. So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. To throw again. White. And he comes back with one complete. And he'll be down at the 46. So they go from 146 to the other on a pickup of 8. Back to throw again. He'll drop this one off with ETN. And he's going to have the first down at about the 38.
Another catch for him there on this drive, Brandon, and it looks like they're going to utilize him out of the backfield any way they can. At that time, they picked up the first down. So now on defense, you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going.
Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. Again, he'll drop to throw. Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete. They work again from the 38 on 2nd and 10. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. That one is slant to McLaurin. And he's going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys' 17-yard line. I don't know what they talked about at halftime. Whatever it was, it worked. They looked like a different team here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I doubt that there are very many trash cans that got kicked over, that type of a speech. I think what they did was they analyzed what worked in the first half, what didn't, and figured out a better game plan.
So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. Inside the red zone here, they'll look to throw. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Zimmerman. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on 1st down. Throwing again on 2nd down. White. Now White lost the football. Fortunate to get that football back, because trailing here in the 2nd half, last thing they needed was to lose the possession.
And the word I think of here is opportunity, because it could have been lost there, their chance to score points. But the opportunity for the defense was to go ahead and really close this game down if they were able to get possession.
So danger averted for the moment, but now here's a 3rd and long. Back to throw. White. He'll get this off to ETN. And out of bounds right around the 20. 3 yards all they could muster there, and it'll bring up 4th down. And his kick is indeed good. And they will get themselves on the board here at 14-3. So a good drive there to begin quarter number 3, but they're only able to shave 3 points off the lead.
Well, something's better than nothing. All right, they didn't play particularly well in the first half, but they definitely need them to step on the accelerator now and play a whole lot better.
And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. The Cowboys offense now, they head out for their first possession of the 2nd half. They've got to right the ship. They had a great first half, but the lead has really gone down. Now, you know, you always talk about the adjustment to the adjustment. They've got to adjust right here.
And I think a lot of it is just mentally. Get back to doing what you were doing well in the beginning of the game, but a lot of that is playing with that emotion and that sense of pride and fire that sometimes goes away a little bit when you build up a lead. You think you got it going, and you also think at any moment I can go ahead and go back to the way it was before. You and I both know it's not that easy once you get off the gas a little.
Yeah, they don't want to see this lead diminish anymore. That's a big loss of 3, and it brings up 3rd down.
Sometimes you just sit back and marvel at what he can do defensively. Speed, strength, quickness, he's the whole package. And that package just wrapped up the runner for a loss.
Prescott to throw it. And that's Elliott, complete. And he will be very close to a first down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means fourth down. And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And that's going to bring up a fourth down.
Well, it wasn't a big strike, but that completion put them in really great range. What do we have now, 4th and inches?
Yeah, it's not more than a half a foot.
You know what I would do here?
You would always go for it.
I'm one of those guys.
Here's Michael Pilardi now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. That'll go as a 42-yard punt, but a net of 32. They had a 10-yard return, and out will come the offense as they take over. Here again comes the captain of this offense, leading his crew back out there now. What can they do now, Charles, to make sure this highlight montage doesn't continue to show more pressure and pressure and pressure?
You feel like it always comes back to leverage, don't you? Who is going to win that battle of the offensive and defensive lines? Low man wins, we talk about that, but we think about it in a running game. Well, guess what? The same thing happens when you're trying to pass protect. Are you low? Are you balanced? Are you in a position where the pass rush won't bowl you over on their way back to the quarterback? They've got to reestablish that in order to try and keep their man upright.
Because they have been bowled over a lot so far in this one. Not much there, only a yard.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
Now a throw here to his running back. So just 3 yards on the completion there. And just like that, it's 3rd down. Looking to throw. White. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
That was a fun one to watch right there. A nice in-breaking route and plenty of room in the middle of the field. And he was able to get behind the linebackers and grab the completion for a really good pickup.
On 1st and 10, White. And yet again, it's McLaurin. And he's able to get this to the 40-yard line before he's out of bounds. Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. Back to throw. White. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25.
Seeing this is much better from this offense because so far in this game, no touchdowns to this point, and what's usually a direct correlation? Very few explosive plays. That's been their issue, not able to make that big shot downfield or break one off, but a nice game there for a first down.
On 1st and 10, it's Etienne. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. It's a loss of 4 on the first down play.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. One quarter remains here in Week 16. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. 2nd and 14. Operating from the gun. White. Finding Gaskin underneath. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10.
every drive from here out is definitely crucial and critical. They know that they need to get at least 3 here to get it back to a one-score game. But I can't imagine that in their huddle that they're thinking at all about getting a field goal. They want to get into the end zone and then try and get the ball back again.
From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10. Looking to throw. White. And he's not able to get away. Sacked back at the 22. That one will set him back nearly 10 yards here on 1st down on the sack.
Well, collectively as a defense, Charles, I think if you get 4 sacks a game, you're feeling really good. Now they have 6 as a unit.
And that type of a number, it's just staggering because there's so many ways to try and counteract it. But in this case, they've got no answers for this unrelenting pressure coming at their quarterback.
After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. Here's a pass swung out left to his running back. And able to get this down inside the 15, either the 13 or 14 before he's out of bounds. It'll be a pickup of 8 on the screen, and it sets up a 3rd down.
I like the thinking there because right after a sack, it can be a great time to call for a screen to your running back and use the eagerness of the defense against them. Able to gain some positive yards out of this one and make things a little bit easier for him on 3rd down.
And he'll be out of bounds. In a 2-score game, obviously, every play, every 3rd down, like we saw there, magnified. Big pickup.
It was a huge pickup. What they really want, though, is to not even get to 3rd down. They've got to maximize time and conserve as much as possible.
First and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. And he'll take it into the end zone for a touchdown. A great play there with touchdown number 8 on the year.
And the Celtic Tigers have made it a 1-score game again here in the 4th. So it was the passing game that got him down here, but closer to the goal line, it's the running game that gets him home.
Certainly appears that they lulled the defense into thinking that the passing game was going to be it the entire drive. Nice change up there going to the running game to get them over the goal line.
Here we go now as we get set for a big 2-point conversion. They'll look to throw. And now the pressure gets there, and he goes down. So he couldn't get rid of the football, and that deficit stays right where it is.
But they tried to get 2 and ended up getting none because the quarterback had nowhere to go with the ball and ends up getting sacked.
Nowhere to go at all. Great job, though, defensively. They were ready. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes.
From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23.
I think you'd have to say defensively, these guys are doing their job pretty well, right?
Yeah, we talked about them holding them under 20 points, right, on defense. And they've done that. They've held them. The problem is their own offense hasn't answered their challenge, which was to score more.
Yeah, exactly. I remember you saying magic number was right around 20, and the offense has been the issue. You're right. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through. But that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. They go to Elliott again. He'll get about 3 as he's taken down at the 23. The Cowboys on 3rd down. They've converted 3 times in 8 chances. This is 3rd and 9. Here's Prescott. Under pressure, and down he goes. Now we've got whistles, and the man slow to get up here is the quarterback, Allen. Not something you want to see in Week 16 or any week, really. We'll be right back. Here's Michael Pilardi now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. 42 yards on the punt, just 2 on the return.
Dublin's offense now set to take over. Their defense accomplished step 1 of the mission. They forced the punt. Now they'll look to erase that deficit and take a fourth quarter lead.
They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10 at their own 44. Throwing to start the drive. White. And he will find his man on the outside. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Back to throw. White. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far. It's 2nd down.
Here's 2nd and 10.
From the gun, White.
And that's complete to ETN out of the backfield.
And he's going to have another 1st down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys' 12-yard line.
And here we are in the 4th quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there. Not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10.
Looking to throw. White. And he's got it. And he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on 1st down.
From the 3, 2nd and a yard. ETN with it.
And he will take this one in for a touchdown.
Travis Etienne,
his 2nd touchdown on the season.
And the Celtic Tigers have taken the lead. So the first drive ended in 3. This time they take it down and punch it in the end zone.
So that first drive felt like they were just gathering knowledge, didn't it? Just enough to kick the field goal on the first one. And the second time they put it all together and got it all the way to the end zone.
All right, now a big 2-point conversion attempt still to come. They'll try and throw for it. And he's going to be taken down. It's a sack, and they fail on the try for 2.
Well, that decision to me was all about pulling up the chart. You know, that beautiful chart that tells you when to go for 2, when to go for 1. I do love it. It helps you with your decision-making during heated times. And you just look at it right here in this point of the game. Go for 2. Try and make it a field goal difference.
But now just up 1 makes the rest of this 4th quarter a little more interesting.
Yeah, they followed the chart. They just didn't get the 2 points on the board, did they?
Nope.
And this will not be returned. It's a touchback, and they'll begin at the 25.
Here's the Dallas offense now heading back out onto the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Now we'll look at Smith. Not sure exactly what happened, but he's still down. Not something you want to see in Week 16 or any week, really. We'll be right back. Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Now Prescott.
He'll get this to Elliott.
He'll be hit down at the 33, 5 yards on the play. The Cowboys on 3rd down. They've converted a third of their opportunities, 3 for 9. This time they face a 3rd and 2. And that is incomplete. Here's Michael Pilardi now, as they're forced to kick for the 6th time today. Pulled in at the 24. It'll be a 40-yard punt, 8 on the return.
Dublin's offense now set to take over.
They're holding on right now to that slim advantage in a one-score game. And you hear a lot about 2-minute offense and 4-minute offense. Obviously, the 4-minute offense applies here. How do they run that effectively?
Yeah, really what the 4-minute offense is you're just trying to grind the clock. So you want consistent gains, steady gains. Doesn't have to be big plays, but it has to be plays that gets first downs and keeps the ball away from your opponent.
But certainly throwing the ball is in the mix here.
It certainly is. Just make sure that you're careful with it. And again, get those first downs, keep possession of the football.
And for a second straight play, that Cowboy defense gets him to the ground behind the line of scrimmage.
And this is why the head coach gets paid the big bucks. Look at where they are in this situation, partner. Do you throw the ball here in a long-distance situation? Do you run it again and trust your defense and make sure you take care of the ball and punt it away? What kind of options do you have here, and what do you trust more on your team?
Yeah, they may have just pushed him back into that throwing situation. We'll see. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is 3rd and long. White looks to throw.
Well, this pass broken up. Excellent coverage there on 3rd down, as that was not an easy one to hold on to.
That's an excellent job right there on 3rd down. Like any defense, you never want to let them get anything started, and that would have been a first down. Instead, you saw the contact on time, no penalty, and before this drive could get wings, it's 4th down.
And they'll send out their punter now, as he'll come on to kick this one away. It's a 47-yard punt, return of 6. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Dak and the Cowboy offense heading back onto the field. And here we go, partner. My palms are sweaty. These are the moments we wait for in the booth.
Oh, come on. I know when you were a kid, you went through this, right? Well, you know, there was always that one guy in the neighborhood who had the yard that was conducive to playing like this. I know I won many a drive at Billy Mosslander's house. So that's what he's got to draw on now. Go back to those good old days. Remember how it was and have some fun doing.
A little more pressure packed here in this drive, in this moment of the National Football League. And he's going to lose a yard or two. Taken down behind the line.
Chase Young
in there to get him sack number 14 for him on the year.
He's certainly one of those quarterbacks that can burn you with his mobility, but that time able to hem him in and get him to the ground.
Perfect descriptor right there about how they kept him in the pocket. Excellent job of containment, but they were still able to continue to bring such strong pressure without letting him escape. But how about those guys in the secondary as well? Kept the coverage tight, plastered to the receivers, and left no real options for him to throw it downfield.
One of the bigger plays in the game thus far, and the crowd getting into it as we come up on a big 3rd down.
And a dangerous throw there as that's knocked down and incomplete.
One score down, here we go. They're going to go for it here on 4th down.
Quarterbacks work all the time on manipulating a defense with their eyes and their head movement. In this case, he just stared the receiver down. That allowed for excellent coverage, able to knock that one away.
Now they go for it on fourth, but this one is going to wind up incomplete. So it's our home team here in possession of the football as we come back. They've got a 1st and 10 as they look to try and finish this one off. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. And quickly we're going to get another stop here with 1:54 left as they call the timeout defensively. So they come up on 2nd down. If they can get another run like we just saw, would likely put an end to this thing. And he'll be taken down at the 20 after a gain of just 1. The Cowboys going to use their 2nd timeout now as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Another run with Gaskin. And he takes it down to the 13 and picks up the 1st. The Cowboys signal for their 3rd and final timeout. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the 1st down. And they will take a knee here. On 2nd down, a run with Etienne. And he goes backwards here, losing yardage back to the 16. That'll wind up as a loss on the play, so now they're staring at a 3rd down and 12.
Well, they went back to him, but the results were similar, so I highly doubt that he'll get another opportunity here on 3rd and long.
The last 2 plays, each lose a yard. They'll try to move forward here on 3rd and 12. Victory all but assured now as they take a knee here, and they're going to escape with a 1-point victory.
Partner, they took a knee to finish this one off. To me, that's the only thing they lost in the 4th quarter. How about that comeback?
Yeah, trailed coming into the last frame. Got it done, taking the knee. So plenty of smiles for the folks here as they head for the exits. It's a victory for their hometown guys. And it took a big 4th quarter to do it, but they were able to get the job done, and that's the bottom line.
No doubt about it. And let's face it, they had to be more than nervous in the 4th quarter. But a lot of that was their own doing. I think you observed during the game, their energy level just didn't seem to be there. But in the 4th quarter, somehow they dug deep and found that extra bit, right? That reserve tank. They hauled it out. Offense scored some points. Defense held them. And lo and behold, they walk away with a win. Maybe expend a little more energy than they expected to, but they'll take it.
So for Dublin, they continue to rack up the victories as this one moves them to 13 and 2 on the year. And now they'll face the prospect of a long, albeit happy flight across the Atlantic. Meanwhile, for the Cowboys, it's a loss that could wind up hurting a little as they fall now to 11 and 4. And they'll look to regroup next week as they head to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Giants. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Certainly have to thank Charles Davis, my broadcast partner, and our entire crew. We'll catch you next time right here. It's the NFL on EA Sports.